Peek, 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 peek. Peek, 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 peek. These are kind of our preferred yards. They're daytime exercise yards. The dogs will come out. When the weather's good, they come out and everybody goes swimming during the day in the small pond. This is the little pond. So then the summer, when the weather's nice, we're not quite there yet. The pond is still a little bit closed, but we're big believers in a lot of exercise. We really want the dogs to be able to be out and be, and we have a lot of dogs, so it's really important that, to me at least, that they're not in teeny tiny little runs, that they do get plenty of exercise. They're all raised. My vet calls me Dr. Doolittle. She's like, every single animal that you have is tame, even the squirrels. You come out here in the morning, this is kind of where they exercise. It is pity bugs. These pigs, I had an employee whose family just didn't want them anymore. And so they showed up and they kind of hang out here with the dogs. So these are some of our young males that we're hoping on putting into the show this year, as well as these two guys over here. This one in the middle is actually a rescue that we took in out here. We've probably got about 10 or 15 of the animals here are dogs we've taken in that have had behavioral problems or issues, and some of them do well and they're easy to find a home for. It's just a situation where they got placed for whatever reason. But for most of these that come for rescues, they're really here for a long time because they're afraid of children or they have issues, those kind of things. But I'm a big believer in exercise, so when we let them out to go to the bathroom in the morning, these are the big exercises that they come out into and kind of hang out in. When the weather's good and summer's high and the pond is high, we'll let them out into the big yard and they'll swim and do other things with these guys, and then these guys kind of get moved to a different yard depending on the time of the year. You're gonna eat your shoestrings. You didn't know what you signed up for when you came. It's about 22, 23 dogs out here. Pens are usually 2 dogs at a time, sometimes 3 depending. And the idea is that they get up in the morning, they come out here, and that they get plenty of exercise, they get to swim. We do training during the day, and then when they're done, they go kind of in and out the buildings depending on which one we have. And my house is over there. This is all kind of run in a way that if there's a storm or a problem or an issue, all these dogs, the pens can be opened up, pop, 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 pop. They'll run through an alley down there and then they go into the house in an emergency, bad weather, it starts raining, something like that. Because you got to have good systems for when things that aren't supposed to happen, which they do on a regular basis. And this is just the general outdoor kennel. We do have the red runs. Those are the ones that you saw in there, and they're your typical like 10 by 10 runs that people have. I prefer the bigger. The dirt has its own problem because when you have dirt, of course, it means you have more process of disease. You've got squirrels picking on them. You've got, potential parasites, ticks, fleas, things like that. But for me, it's a much better life for them to be out and enjoying themselves and sitting in a crate in a house, And everything kind of lives together here. If it's the peacocks or the cats or the chickens or whatever it is, they tend to be friendly with each other. Right now it's kind of dead because there's no leaves, but in the summertime and then in the fall, this is really beautiful. And that's the old structure over there. That's the original house that's over there. And then there's the shop. Over there is the cabin. That's actually where I'm staying right now because we're remodeling some of the house. And then the clubhouse is there. And then we have the training hall. So there's about 9 structures on the facility that, we house guests in or dogs. And the first 2 hours of the day is a little bit insane tomorrow morning. I told you that. No, I told you they're going to be here tomorrow. Say what? The end of February, beginning of March, you ding dong. It's a good thing you're pretty. All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Ah! This little one was born here, and she's got a pretty significant birth defect. And we're still waiting to see what we can do, if anything, to help her out. And the other one is a old Frisian, and the white one there we paid $15 for several years ago. He came out and the vet told me he thought it was nice that we'll give these young ones a chance, but the horse would never live. And I think he's 18 now. Brand new, just born little meeps. They actually were born on my head last night. It was a very interesting evening. I've been up since 3 a.m. Woke my husband up. He's like, "You need help." He's like, "What?" I'm like, and then like, "Look." It was a surprise because she didn't have any milk and it was a little bit early. But all puppies are born blind and deaf. They can't see or hear. And they don't, at this stage, they can't maintain their body temperature, so you have to be really careful with them. And the mom, like I said, normally we have a whole protocol, but she just surprised me, and I had puppies on my head. I did wash my hair today, I promise, but it was eventful. Well, he's got a lot of personality, this one. And he has combined the spin with going to the placemat. And he's a really, really funny dog, aren't you? Okay. Down. So he struggles a little bit with, moving into the next stage where we're not going to give him a sticker for everything that he does. And he has an expectation that when he does one behavior, I'm going to mark it, and now I want him to do 2. Down. And there he anticipates, which is beautiful, because that's what we've been working on the last 3 days, is down to sit. And a lot of people will punish him or not mark, and that's wrong. The dog is anticipating what you want. Now I know it's a problem, so now I must be faster or work harder in my training. Down. And I'm going to recharge the DOWN, because that's why he went so fast to the SIT, which is what I wanted, to do more behaviors. But then the DOWN loses power, and the dog doesn't want to do that because it doesn't pay anymore. Right now I'm just warming her up, and this is the leash walking. Yeah, she's going to the place. So her story is she went home to a family, and they love her, and she's a wonderful dog, but they have a 4-year-old son, and that 4-year-old son is very nervous about the dog because she's very friendly with the kids, but she's too active. So what's on her right now is she has a very thin rope, and there I'm going to tap her back, and there you saw the reaction of the dog. I tapped her with the e-collar, but you don't see any pain. You see a tail wagging, an animal that's happy. There's nothing about the electric collar that causes any type of fear or pain. Place. When you hear the little beep in the background, that doesn't have anything to do with what the dog is feeling. It's for teaching purposes so clients can understand, when I'm pushing the button, when I'm not. But the dog doesn't actually feel any sensation or vibration from that. So in the home, this dog needs to be able to stay long periods of time happily, and still be able to exercise and move around, and most importantly, not jump on the 4-year-old, because the 4-year-old was so afraid that he was having night terrors. And the dog was never biting him, was just playing. Go down. Let's go is my command. My hand is loose. My leash is loose. And it's the dog's job to stay there, not my job to keep the dog. Whoop, whoop, booby trap. But my hands and my adjustment of that leash don't do anything. The dog is there, and I'm not looking at my dog. And it's kind of a running joke. You really want to be, and the dog hears the tension. Did you see that? Very light tension, and the dog adjusts. Because the dog understands when there's any type of leash that they need to fix that. There it was. See, the dog fixed it, not me. And again, you're like, oh no, I'm missing the bus. What's going on? Oh shit, Sally. Oh crap. Hey, Jim. And those are the type of things the dog has to stay there. It's not my job to make the dog, with the leash, hold them in the boundary. In 2007, we made a big leap and decided to take a giant risk and packed everything in the bags and moved from Indianapolis to Missouri to a little farmhouse with no electricity, running water, or plumbing. And I had a dream. I wanted to live in the country. I wanted to work with animals, and I wanted to develop my own space. And it started out as a hobby. It became a jobby. It became a career, and then it became an empire. And we've been very quiet about everything that we've done. It's built organically. We really haven't advertised at all, and we've found some really unique ways of training dogs. We have found through good mentorship and teaching of others ways to indoctrinate dogs younger and younger into the passion of dog training, really developing the love for what they do at a young age, as well as expanding on events and higher education. And I've never been comfortable in front of the camera. Everybody has their time, and I think my time is now to kind of show what we were able to achieve on this big adventure. And it's been a story. It's been a story. And there are things that are probably not PC, and there are things that will make people laugh, and there will things that are gonna offend people, but what you will find is something interesting. And I want to share all of the good education I've been able to pull by people smarter than me, better than me, more experienced. And I've reached a point where I really think it's time to share that. And what we hope to provide to you in the next weeks, months, whatever it is a window into the reality of what that is. Not a stage setup of perfect training, not a stage setup of a perfect house, but what it really looks like to live, breathe, eat, sleep dogs from the time you get up and go to bed. And more importantly, what it means to live, eat, breathe, suffer for your dream. Because that's what it takes, and that's how this place got here.